out of the World Social Forum process. How many people have ever heard of a social forum? Beautiful. How many people have ever been to a social forum? Can I get some call-outs? Where'd you go?
Brazil.
Brazil. What year?
2004.
Wow, fabulous.
I can't remember what year. I think it was Porto Alegre. Yeah. It was my first one. I slept on the floor with women from 3 other groups. It was awesome.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Other call-outs?
Venezuela.
Venezuela. What year?
2006.
Beautiful.
Nairobi, Kenya.
Nairobi.
2006, 7.
There with you, 2007.
Great.
Who else?
Atlanta.
Atlanta, 2007, so it was 2006. Where else? Anybody go to the one in Mumbai? Anybody ever been to a regional social forum?
Yeah.
Yeah? Where'd you go?
Midwest Social Forum in Milwaukee.
Beautiful, beautiful. Matt? Same one? Oh, y'all must be connected.
Boston Social Forum, 2004.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. So, one of the major things that we want to emphasize for those of you who have never been to a social forum, or for those of you who have and can attest to this, right? The social forum is not a conference. Can we say it all together? The social forum is not a conference. So the idea, right, is not that you go, right, and you learn about like 20 different groups work and you come back and you go, woo, that was awesome, right? It's a movement building process. The idea behind a social forum is to bring together all of our different segments, all of our different sectors, all the work that we're doing, right, and strategize about how we're going to build a better world. Okay? And for the World Social Forum process, right, that happens usually right around the same time that they do what in Davos, Switzerland? Anybody know? No.
The World Economic Forum.
Right, and do people know what that is?
It's an opportunity for the capitalists to celebrate.
Wait, say that louder.
It's an opportunity for the capitalists to celebrate themselves.
That's right. We don't need that. We got our own, right? And we're bigger.
It is corporate.
It is corporate. It is corporate. So the social forum is meant to be an alternative to that, right? We know that the elites, right, the ruling class, they get together and they hobnob, they rub elbows, and they make a plan on how they're going to make your life worse, right? We come together and we try to build with other sectors, right, other organizations, other social movements, and we talk about how to make life better, right, for the majority of the world's people. And hopefully what comes out of that, right, is greater cohesion, right, greater coordination, right? The idea is not for us all to have one politic, right, but it's for all of us to get to know each other and fight alongside one another and see how each of us can contribute to building a strong global justice movement. Am I missing anything?
No.
No? That was good? Yeah? Okay, so first U.S. Social Forum happened, right, because folks were recognizing there's all these people coming from the U.S. like, woo! Build that movement. They're like, really? What are you doing? Take your foot off my neck, right? I need you to go home and talk to your comrades and your compañeros, right? And talk about and figure out what you're going to do to take your foot off our neck. Okay? So that's where the U.S. Social Forum came from. Out of a recognition that, one, we got to get together, right? That, two, there is a growing and vibrant set of movements that are being built here, and we need to make that visible, right? And not only do we need to make it visible, but we need to get together closely enough to create some room, right, for the rest of the world to get some space and push back, okay? So the first one happened 2007 in Atlanta, right? It was originally sent to happen in New Orleans, but what happened? Katrina, right? So the process of building the first U.S. Social Forum was actually delayed a year because it was going to be too much, right? Folks were like, yo, there's some whole other stuff going on here. So Atlanta was picked as the site. And how many people here attended the U.S. Social Forum? First one ever in Atlanta, Georgia.
Got the T-shirt.
Got the T-shirt, the keychain, the bag, right?
Oh,
the temporary tattoo.
And I didn't sleep on the floor that time.
Okay, that's a good thing. And it was hot, right? It was hot,
It was
right?
great.
People want to share just a couple quick experiences. What was it like?
Inspiring.
Inspiring. What else? Don't sleep on me now. We was on a roll. We was on a roll now.
I think one of the things that I really enjoyed is seeing the intersection of different movements. So not just folks from the juvenile justice movement, but actually intersecting with the abolitionists and other folks that were working on criminal justice. And folks actually creating different platforms to move forward together and align their missions and align the work that they were doing.
Yeah. Perfect. Yes.
I thought it was great that we had it in a southern city, because I grew up in South Carolina, although I live in California, and southern people were just like blown away, because there's, you know, everyone's mindset is that nothing's going to get better. And having grown up in South Carolina with Strom Thurmond every year, you know, I had to move to California to realize that isn't true, but to see all these people to come from all over the world in a southern state, in a southern city, for southern people to see, you know, you have a place in this larger picture, that for me was really powerful.
Absolutely. One more? Go.
I thought it was the first day, the march. When we marched through downtown Atlanta, we were going past a hospital that was full of folks that was going to be closed. Yeah. And we got a chance to feel our power. It was really great, and meeting a lot of new people.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an opportunity for us, right, to take ourselves out of our day-to-day grind and experience what it's like, and to know that there are hundreds of thousands of people and organizations and groups and collectives who are all working towards the same thing. That's hot. When do we get the opportunity to do that? In Detroit this year, right? So if y'all didn't know, the next forum is happening in June in Detroit, Michigan. Everybody know where Detroit, Michigan is? How many people here are from Detroit? Ooh.
Nearby.
I love your city. I just have to say, I love your city. I love your city. Okay, so why Detroit? Why would we do it in Detroit?
The worst hit city in the economic recession.
Absolutely. What's unemployment like in Detroit?
Almost 40%.
Yeah. Officially, it's about 24%, but unofficially, right, which is what most of us experience, it's like 50% or more, right?
Well, I just happened to, I was watching the news last week, and they talked about the vacancy rate in Detroit is so high, the city's planning to bulldoze like a huge percentage of the buildings and turn it into urban farms and stuff, and I thought my mind was just blown, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the local people think about these plans, but I'd be interested in hearing that when we're there.
They're fighting.
Well, you're going to hear it.
They're fighting. They're fighting. And we're about to fight with them.
I've left the Detroit area in 1965, and actually my parents moved into an area called Rochester, Michigan, about 30 miles north and a little bit east of Detroit. And they were there, my dad was there to serve as a minister in a church, and it was part of the white flight that left the suburbs all around Detroit, only 30 miles away. From what I understand today, that Detroit is a shell of itself, and I read just in the last couple of weeks that Robert Dobb, that used to be the city manager here, is now the head of the schools or serves in some special function for the schools. They're closing 25% of their schools.
That's right.
That's obscene.
That's right. That's recent, too. That's within the last few months.
That's right.
Right?
It's actually 40 schools that'll be closed by the time we get there.
Yes.
Okay. So Detroit, right, is one painful example, right, of what capitalism does to our world, just to keep it real, right? But I want to also highlight the other side, right, because, you know, folks every day, they look around and go, oh man, there's all these problems, you know, we got unemployment, we don't got no jobs, we ain't got no housing, right, but we got movements, right, and folks in Detroit are building movements. Detroit is one of the centers of alternative models in the country. People have not laid down and been like, oh, right? No. Not only are they fighting, they're building. Right? They're like, you want to shut down our schools? That's cool, we gonna open a new one. Right? You want to demolish housing? You want to kick us out of our place? That's okay, we're going to break the lock, we're going to set people up, and we're going to change the lock so you can't get back in. Right? There's all kind of fresh models that are being built in Detroit that we as social movements have a lot to learn from, right? So it's an opportunity to share, exchange, build, strengthen, right? Inspire, and take action. Okay? So